All right, what we're going to do is talk about a bunch of different stuff, but it has to do with um, certain currents that has to do with the unseen. Okay, some things are going to be said that makes no sense at all, and it's not for you. Um, I guess this could be for the ones that really they'll know what this is, and to those of you just watching, we're going to take away. We're going to look at this outside of of a human mind. Okay, and what we mean by that is we have to take away the materialistic mind. Okay, we have to look at this in a way that you've never looked at something. Okay, because remember, there's names are useless on the other side. Okay, but names here represent labels. Now, they'll represent a definition, which is fucking garbage, you know. But that's what we have. And these world controllers they've left hints here and there because they really know what's going on. They know how powerful the brain is, but if the brain can be got to it at an early age, then it's easy to control that brain. It's very easy. But first thing we have to do is we have to look at a few dates. Okay, and those of you that's been tagging along, you have to just pay attention, take yourself out of who you are, and try to look at this like a hierarchical, like an archi, which would be like we're looking at angeli, archangeli, archi, which would be angels, and then to here. We're going to keep it that simple, okay? And we're going to talk about certain angels, okay, like Michael, which would be Michael to us, which is lame to say it like that because it's a very powerful name, Michael. And Cassiel, which would have to do with Saturn. Michael has to do with the sun. Okay, and those are two names which are labels, but it has to do with Saturnian current energy and the sun, SUN energy is what that is. Okay, so when we say Michael and then you say Cassiel, it's going to represent Saturn and the sun. Those currents, that energy that is coming through certain human beings, that has to do with this man's journey. Okay, and certain colors are assigned to certain planets, and Saturn's color is going to be black and also blue. Okay, because when you look into the expanse of space, which is not real in the average guy's mind, which is a human mind, because it's all water. When you look into it, because there's no such thing as light, it's just an expanse, it's the magnetic field. So deep black will look dark blue. Okay? It's very important. So black, that's why you have all these songs and movies that have references. In Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, Mr. Black is the man's name. He says Mr. Black's the only one that can save Gotham, and that is Saturn. It all has to do with Saturnian energy. And what I'm trying to tell you is those of y'all that really know something's going on, we have a connection. What has enslaved us, that same energy that is fucking pure evil, that has been doing this shit for a long time, for, a few thousand years, what we have going on inside of this cavity is the exact opposite of this. Okay, now the average human brain cannot grasp what is said because they have an intellectual, materialistic, Ahrimanic mind, which means that they've been uploaded with impulses from billboards to create a reaction to the optic nerve, transferring signals to the brain, the cerebrum, the memory, and the occipital lobe, which is imagination, and all this is developed inside. Okay, so in the average goy human world, if you can't Google it, then it's not real. So that what we're saying is you don't understand. You have been guided your entire existence. Okay, you have been labeled with a name. Okay, we're bigger than just names. Okay, so one more thing, if you can go back to where we've talked about the printing press and how it was created to press against the mind, this materialism of pure demonism, and from it's black magic. It's what it is. The print represents that print up there, the print in the heavens. When you were put into this world, at that very second, there's an image you're going to see when you go. And you need to think about that image when you came in. Whatever certain time you can think of, Google your little zodiacal chart and see where everything was. You need to just at least look at that. It's bigger than, we don't have time to get into that shit, but there's an image in there. Okay, and instead of you knowing about that imprint that's forever here, you have billions of images of fake materialism in there. Okay, so with all that being said, we're going to talk about certain numbers, okay, because on December the 17th of 2014, okay, remember your name just represents numbers. Letters are numbers. It's black magic. It's what it is. Okay. Now, what is December 17th in history? What is December 17th with Saturn in history? December 17th is historically significant for its connection to Saturn, primarily through the ancient Roman festival of Saturnalia. It's not Roman. It goes way back before. See, when they put a name there, that's a force. Like we've said, that's a force telling you that the Romans are the only one. No, you're not. You don't own that. You do not fucking own that. That's why it's hard for him to read. And it's like, I hate the brightness, and I know I can turn it down, but it's stupid. But that's the date of my sobriety date, was December the 17th. It was the beginning of Saturn. It's very important. You throw away the celebrations. The celebrations is just to control the masses and to give them some kind of celebration for making them work all year because they're slaves. But see, what you need to know is that day. That's why they don't want you to know about certain days. They give you holidays, which are holy days. If you knew what they were, then you would load up with certain salts, plants, leaves, roots, whatever. And then on certain days, you would literally soak in what's up there. You're going to evoke that, and you're going to assume certain beings the same way that the same people watch this, and then they play out what they watch. You understand? Which is fucking death. So these black magicians create these scripts, and they send this shit through this, and it comes in here, and then they go play that shit out. It's a carbon copy, because you're carbon, of what we can do. For instance, the Indians, which is the Jesuits created them. Yeah. But they still have instinct, just like my ducks. I hate that word too. But they're going to do things that they're created to do. So the Indians eventually they put these things on, these certain costumes, and they're certain colors, because those colors coincide with Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Saturn, and so on. Do you understand? And they do that. So when they're doing a seance, a ritual, just paying homage to what those circuits produce together to pull out of the ground. It's big daddies is what that is. And it also has to do with creating your organs and your fucking anatomy over a long period of time. And you don't have any of that shit whatsoever. So do you understand what I'm telling you when I'm talking about like these seasons in scripture? It says it's for signs and seasons. You learn the seasons and the signs and the circuits through the life forms, through the battery. You understand? And believe it or not, the other side is more real than this side. Okay? That's why you're uploaded with so much screen shit, black magic. And then when you go across the memory, which is the same as the phones, when the phone dies, you transfer the memory. Well, when this ceases, this memory goes across. And then everything we've uploaded, it comes out. It comes out. These goy are ignorant. They'll tell you, no, it don't. Well, then bye. This is not for you. You understand? And so when we can understand what circuits, currents, impulses and all that are, then we can start to understand what is it that moves us, you know. And when you can start to see the holidays, holy days, certain events that they have are on very important days, like May the 1st is the founding of the Bavarian Illuminati, which is 51, May the 1st. Okay? In a 360-degree circle, if May 1st is down here, all right, which is spring, the complete opposite of that is October 31st, Halloween. You see what I mean? That's why Halloween's so big. It's so big because it represents a portal. The same way that May the 1st represents spring, and there's so much cosmic unseen spirit energy being pushed in Earth, it's all coming out. Well, the opposite over there represents death. That's what I'm saying. Fall, winter, these beings come through, these Ahrimanic beings, and destroy nature. See, true evolution is what's going on. At one time, we had, that shit couldn't happen. Everything was perfect. We didn't have these stupid impulses. The melted shit was one, and now that went down, and now they've summoned everything back here to corrupt them in order to put them back in the other side and create this demon sphere of one fucking cosmic satanic demon fucking badass crazy shit. The same way over here we had one, you see how it flip-flops? That's the yin and the yang. And see, there's no chance at coming out of what people are going into until whenever it sees fit. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now you're starting to understand how powerful certain circuits are, because when we're talking about Saturn, okay, Saturn is just a name, okay, but Saturn is the big boy. At one time, Saturn, not in the world you're thinking with a material mind, but what you see as Earth and all this was Saturn. Okay, and eggs and all that shit goes way back to Saturn, you know, and the very beginning of Saturn is when these physical being that we are now is starting to be developed, you know, likened to like corn. And as the wheel would go around the manufacturing plant, which is the wheel, the 12 signs and seasons, as it went around, it's, you know, we can say the same way an embryo is developed is the same way we were, but over a long period of time. You understand? They're breathing that fluid in, embryonic fluid, you know, and then certain songs reference out of the muddy water you gave life, which would be Saturn. Yeah, but not our way, their fucked up way. All right? So, you know, with that being said, on December the 17th of 2014, that was on a Wednesday. Okay, when we're looking at not Crawley shit, this is real black magic formula, and white magic is mixed in there. It's fucked up. It's all intertwined, but we can see right through it. But we have to have certain things to show you, even to the idiots that say that's not real. Fuck you. It's real. Okay? So when we say names, remember it's the current. Okay? And right here, when we're looking at the names of the hours and the angels ruling them. Okay? Right here. On Sunday, it was Wednesday. So on that night, it was between 11 and 12 on Wednesday night, and Cassiel is right there at midnight. Do you understand? Right here at the bottom. So, see, not only did it fall on Saturn, okay, I could get into the birth until then, which would be 38 and 11 and 38 and 10, which is right over here. This is it. This is Goy's not supposed to go show you their little shit. Yeah. And see, they've got their own people that can't even do it. They raise these fucking people, these Goy, to do what's going on with me, and they can't even do it. You know, real quick. See, this number 418 right here goes down, and then that whole page right there. Okay, that whole formula represents the abracadabra, which is 5 A's and 6 other letters that are different. 56, which represents the interlocking of the pentagram and the hexagram, which has to do with forces. It has to do with forces. Okay, so in that number 418, 38 and 11, they are very important numbers. We don't have time to get into it, but on the Constitution, Declaration of the Independence, there was 56 signatures. Okay, and just real quick, if you're hanging on, I'm going to show you what the beginning of the matrix is. Let me turn it down, because we're talking about 56. All right. Come on. Let me just show you. Come on. There it is. All right. I don't want to show too much because it'll. Hang on. It's on. Damn it. Is this even it? There it is. But this is the beginning of Matrix. It'll show the number 9. Look. Right there is 56, but I don't want to show too much. Here it is. Man, come on. There it is. That's the last thing it shows right there. 56. because it's the interlocking of the pentagram and the hexagram. And that whole, all that, it's telling people what it is. In that movie, he says that, you know, billions oblivious. All right, but look, here's Michael. This is who got all this going, like in the beginning. When we left on December the 17th, I got back on the 23rd and I met him. And his name's Mike I.L. And if we're using color, you see what I mean? So, we're not talking about like what has to do with this man. We're throwing away the worldly name Matt, and we're looking at the unseen. We're throwing his name away, and we're looking at the unseen. We're looking at, if we're looking at it on the surface, black, white, you have two poles, okay, working together to create a stronger current, which would be where, you know, his soul is part of developing this soul. Okay, and truthfully, he doesn't have a clue of how powerful of a messenger that he truly is in this journey. Now, there's a lot of them, messengers. But, you know, when these goy or family listen to him and he talks about certain people, they get upset, and that's so childish. You have to have outside help. And see, that's the thing. Until you've been in fucking trouble in this world and see it for what it is, you're trapped. You're in a prison within your own fucking mind. Okay? And I got involved. He got involved trying to do shit. You know, trying to help certain communities. Me and Juanita, for 5 years, we did Christmas for children in Chattanooga. You know, nobody fucking cared about that shit. You try to go raise money if you're not Red Cross and this other shit and can't get nobody help. So, I mean, there's just, you get to see the children struggling, though. You know, and that's Bobby, and that's Sandy. You know, and that's the thing is when you get involved and see they had no idea. That's my dad right there. And that's the newer room of the club I was once belonged to. Okay? And see, the whole thing, though, is this. All right? The one way that you take power, and we're not dealing, remember, Matt is way gone. We're dealing with current of Saturn, like big boy shit. All right, and remember, gematria is in here. All right, I could go into some different. All right, it's right there. Bam, gematria. But see, it's no good unless you really know what's going on. Gematria has to do with the other side. And if you don't believe in that, then but people will find out. All right, well, what I'm going to do right fast, because through AA, through the blue book, blue, Saturn, current, 12 steps, which would be 12 grades, which would represent 12 constellations. So, and they call it, it's a blue book. Blue book. There it is. And this is not bad, even though. All right. In Satanic Gematria, blue book Saturn is 666. Okay? Because the whole thing is it has to do with keeping people in bondage. And it really does. So remember, anything that we see written down, it came from us in a way. So we can take power back, like Public Enemy said one time. We used to listen to it all the time. Take the power back. Okay, it's funny how that same black energy is coming right back at you, taking that power back. And now what we're going to do is go to your own fucking material to show certain goy to unlock more, to be where Matt is. So remember, 666, we have thousands of those ciphers. So if we go over here to the Golden Dawn, this is Crawley's. It was Crawley, and then here comes Israel Regarde, which he's part of all this. Okay? And if you say it's all nonsense, oh yeah, and this is, if you Google George Floyd's mural, it'd be the same as that. He's right here with the little wings. Yeah, it's fucking done because it's black magic. Anyways, Israel Regarde, he was upset because Crawley wouldn't teach him quicker. So that should tell you some shit about Crawley. But if you say it's not real, Ozzy Osbourne, Mr. Crawley, yeah, you got all these song references. Led Zeppelin went and did shit in his fucking house. You've got Crawley, 18-wheeler containers delivering shit. You've got Thule Society, which was Nazism, which was his shit. It's fucking Thule is like some sport thing now, I think, some logo. It's fucking crazy. Like, they ain't even waiting 100 years no more and then reintroducing it. They're literally fucking waiting 50, 60 years and going bam and hitting them back with shit again. So what we have to do is this. Now you got to understand, when we're looking at Michael, that name represents certain current. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and look at magic squares. Okay? So what you're looking at is the magic square of the sun, seal of the sun. It's a seal right here. You see this? You got 6 and 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Okay? Now watch. I'm going to show you. That's all it means, is the seal of the sun. Okay? And it's funny here, it's the spirit Soroth, it's Sorat. S-O-R-A-T. And see, they add shit to it to make you, it's for other purposes. When you add that H right there to that shit, it sends that, remember, that's a force. It's not a letter. To the goy, they just think, oh, goddamn, look at my intellectual mind. I'm into some shit. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up and get out of here. But this is okay. You've played fucking board games with just all these little magic squares. But you don't know what it is. It's a trick. You don't have to know what this is, but you need to understand, when we're looking at 666, it has to do with the SUN and the current. And all this right here is intertwined, believe it or not, in nature. This is. You'll see this in the patterns, okay, which would be symbols through the magnetic field. And then you can apply the numbers to them, because eventually, when we lost the knowledge that we had when we split, eventually this is what showed up. Remember, from the beginning we didn't need shit, and slowly, corrupt, bam, flipped upside down. So now you've got this. The magic square of the sun is 36. Remember. All right. So if we go over here, 666 is the 36th triangular number. Means that when you add 1 through 36 together, you get 666. You understand? So it's the 36th triangular number, and it's the magic square. So that should give you, and some like try-star pictures and try this and try fuck the stupid shit. It has to do with 666. Yeah, but the inverted side of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't want to go too far into gematria, because the average, it's something that you can't, I still don't know what it means, but I can tell you this. where he's at right now is like Jason Bourne and the Bourne whatever, the Bourne Supremacy movie. At the very beginning, when they pick him up on the boat, you know, he's on the boat and he's going through shit, and you know, he's like, I know all this shit, but who the fuck am I? He's trying to figure out who he is. He's got all these fucking shit going on, but he cannot figure out who he is. You know, but we're almost there because the gematria doesn't come like, you can't read. See, for centuries since the printing press, the human it's ingrained into their DNA that if it doesn't come out of a book, which is Kabbalah, if it doesn't come out of a book, which is black magic, then it's not real. But see, the thing is you have to unlock what's inside of you. If it's powerful current, you know, it has to do with fucking major hierarchical beings. It will turn it around for you. That's the easiest words that I can use. You know, you'll get to where you don't need it because it's literally fucking protruding out of you like a porcupine. But just the more you look at what you've been denied, you understand, which would be nature, birds, listening to that, water, being around the water, the seasons, watching the sunrise, the sunset, adjusting shit long distance, your eyes and all that. You were created for all that. You weren't created to do this. And see, that's the thing is everything in the brain, it's over. It's been over. That's what I'm saying. When you can really fucking see it for what it is, you'll see every one of them at night, like I did a long time ago. They're just little bitty cells of dark fucking matter being uploaded with the darkest demonic black magic ever. And then when their cavities cease, which is a battery in the Matrix, it tells you to, when it ceases, you know, it's harvested, the soul is. And remember, we're talking about this, right? Look, I'll go on this, 777. Okay? I'll go on this because I got to get something to eat. And we'll do it in the satanic. Unused. Yeah. So, I told you they're creating this sphere. So, what you have there is unused soul forces. 777. But now that you see that, you've got power over that. You understand? And see, the CDC is 343. You understand what I'm saying? C is the third letter, D is the fourth, so 343. Okay? And that, what they're doing is eradicating the soul. So if we have 7 times 7, all right, look, 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. You know why? Because it's the CDC. Yeah, soul, unused soul forces. Love you.